Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren, how you doing?
Doing well. We're doing this like on video.
We're doing live and in color. We're trying something new. We're doing video, and if it turns out well, we're going to post the results on YouTube and see if we can, get a few more listeners / viewers that way.
Yes, if it turns out not well, the video part will be just tossed in the trash like so much.
It'll be buried. It'll be buried with like in that Atari landfill with all the ET games.
Yes, so. It'll be burned and sacrificed to the god Kali.
Yes. And speaking of the god Kali, we are doing a very special episode this week. We are covering the second Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, from 1984.
Very exciting. A little film you might have heard of. Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, directed by, of course, the great Steven Spielberg. Screenplay by Willard Huyck and Gloria Katz.
I think it's Huyck. Yeah.
Huyck and Gloria Katz. Came out May 23rd, 1984. Had a budget of $28 million. Made $333 million. So, did all right.
Successful movie, yeah. And of course, we've got the brand new Indiana Jones film that's, as we're recording this, just about to come out in about a week's time. I think it's opening on the 30th. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yeah.
Do you plan on seeing that? Well, hey, let's start with this. Like, what are your what's your history with Indiana Jones? Like, are you a longtime fan, casual fan?
I'd say longtime fan. I'm not like super hardcore, but I saw the film. The first film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, when I was a kid. I would have been about 9 years old when that came out in 81.
Okay.
I remember my sister and me pestering my dad to let us see it, and we finally went to go see it as a family.
Oh.
And we had a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. Saw all the films since in the theaters. Didn't like Crystal Skull so much.
Yeah, that one, boof. That one I did see, and I think I talked about it on the last episode where, like, me and my friend everybody was so pumped. It was like, oh, it's the return of Indiana Jones, huzzah! Mm-hmm. And we went there opening night. The place was super packed. Like, I think, like I told you, like, we couldn't get any good seats, so we had to, like, sit in the very front row and crane our necks up, and,
that's not a great way to see a movie. I mean, at least you're able to sit together, though. I've been to movies that are so crowded that like I had to sit apart from my friends, and that's a drag. Yeah,
like I think I've been to a couple. There was one where it was like so crowded. I think one of my friends ended up sitting like in the aisle, like on the floor to watch them. I was like, dude, I don't know if it's safe to be there. He's like,
I did that once. Some friends of mine and I we were sitting on the floor because it was so crowded and. Yeah, we were asked to leave like halfway through the film, and because it was like a fire hazard, and I get where they were coming from.
Yeah, like somebody could like stumble over you and spill like popcorn and soda over you. That ain't right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as Indiana Jones goes, I've always enjoyed his films. Actually, the one we're talking about now, this was the first one I ever saw. Like I don't know, for some reason, I think I saw it out of order. And I saw this.
Well, you were probably a little too young to see the first one, I would guess.
Probably. I mean,
because I've got a few years on you. So
yeah. I mean, I was probably too young to see this one because this one, I forget how dark this one is.
It gets intense, yeah. And I know this film was one of the films. I think this and Gremlins led to the creation of the PG-13 rating.
Yeah, because this movie is rated PG, and like this is. Yeah. There's no way this is a PG movie because there's
No.
I mean, my God, a man gets his heart ripped out of his chest. Like,
yes.
Holy hell!
You see that on screen where, like, people are covered in bugs. People are eating bugs. It's a big bug movie. Big
on bugs. Yeah, like it's,
big bug energy in this movie.
Oh God, that bug scene really just it still creeps me out. It's like,
yeah.
I'm like I remember I watched it today and I just like felt bugs on me. It's like Oh my God, it was a creepy feeling.
Yeah. This is one that I haven't rewatched as much as the first one, Raiders, and the third one, Last Crusade. Those two are my favorite in the series, absolutely, far and away. Because I remember when I was in college, I guess it was my freshman year of college. It was getting towards the time that they were premiering that Young Indiana Jones Chronicles series,
right.
And McDonald's did a giveaway where, like, each week they were giving away a videotape of an Indiana Jones movie, and there were just the three at that point, of course.
Right.
But each week they give away another one if you bought a certain meal or something like that. And when one week got Raiders, when another week got Last Crusade, but I think they were sold out of Temple of Doom, or I missed going the week at Temple of Doom, and it was just like, oh, well, guess I'm not owning Temple of Doom. I wasn't too broken up about it.
Yeah, like that's another thing I didn't even realize, like how out of the trilogy, before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, like apparently I guess the Temple of Doom was like the least liked one out of all three of them. I mean, I remember really liking it. I thought like everybody, I guess I just thought, oh, everybody likes it because it's a nonstop action ride. Like the first 10 minutes, we get a lot of action in the first 10 minutes.
The first 10 minutes, I think, are great, and they're probably the strongest sequence in the movie. And it actually reminded me a little bit of like the big bar fight in 1941, which is like the other Spielberg movie we've covered on the podcast.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
because there's like a fair amount of slapstick and there's like musical elements. I mean, it's very unexpected. It starts out with Kate Capshaw singing "Anything Goes" at this nightclub in Shanghai, and it's definitely not quite how you'd expect an Indiana Jones movie to start.
Yeah, the Club Obi-Wan. Wink.
The Club
wink.
Obi-Wan. Wink.
Get it?
Joke. Yeah. So we're in Shanghai, 1935. Indiana Jones is there, looking dapper as all hell in a tuxedo with a white dinner jacket. I mean, it's very James Bondian.
Yeah, just as smooth can be.
Yeah, and it's like 1984 Harrison Ford, so he's just like a god among men.
Yeah, he is. Oh, ladies.
And he's doing an exchange with this criminal named Lao Chi, who wants the remains of his ancestor Nurichi in exchange for a diamond. And it's kind of like the first one in that we're seeing the end of a previous Indiana Jones adventure, basically.
Right.
And we just pick up in the middle of that. And Lao Chi poisons Indy. His friend Wuhan gets shot.
Yeah. A lot of madness. I think at one point, Indy throws like a flaming kebab skewer with meat on it into a guy's stomach. I'm like,
death by shish kebab. Yes,
I'm like,
we have that in this movie.
I'm like, this PG? Jesus Christ! That's a lot. That's extreme.
Yeah, and like there's a sequence where Indy and Willie Scott, Kate Capshaw's character, they're both scrambling around. Indy's desperately trying to get the antidote to the poison that he was just tricked into taking, and Willie is trying to get the diamond because girl. I mean that is. All right, I'll say that like as one of the kind of like the way they wrote her character wasn't maybe the best. I guess. No. I mean, especially coming after Karen Allen in Raiders, because Karen Allen was such a great character, and I loved how Marion Ravenwood was written, because she gave as good as she got, and she was like totally at home in the adventurous world of Indiana Jones. And this one they tried to go the opposite way,
right?
And Willie Scott is so not in that world and doesn't want to be any part of it, and she is screaming throughout the movie.
Like literally half her dialogue, maybe 75% of her dialogue is just her screaming to just everything around. And I mean, look, there are some things she goes through that are worth screaming. Yes, when somebody puts a plate full of snakes in front of you, like of course the big tunnel with the literally all the bugs in the world just around you and crawling on you. Yeah, you'll scream at that. But she's just like.
Yes.
So there's just so much of her screen. I swear there's at one point where
it's too much. It's just too much.
I like there is one point where she's like where they camp out for the night on their way to the palace, and like she sees an owl and she screams and runs. And she sees a snake and she screams and runs. She sees a lizard, she screams and runs. And she sees a monkey. It's like a bat. Like she's literally just running back and forth, screaming for like almost 3 straight minutes. I'm like,
I wrote in my notes, I was like, I am 17 minutes into this movie and I am already sick of Willie Scott.
Yeah, and he
gets very tiresome very quick just because it's just very repetitive. I mean, because it's just the character playing the same beats over and over. And I mean, I like Kate Capshaw as an actress. I think, I think she did probably as good of a job as you could do with what she was given. I just don't think the material was that great for her character.
She's very one-dimensional, and that's a bummer.
Yeah, the character is.
The character.
Also, like she doesn't have the same chemistry with Harrison Ford that Karen Allen did in the first. So she just kind of inevitably suffers by comparison. You know.
Yeah, but she did have that chemistry with Steven Spielberg. What's up?
Yeah. They Steven Spielberg ended up marrying Kate Capshaw a number of years after the movie. I looked it up. They got married in 91, so it was a few years later. But and Spielberg has said like he doesn't like the finished movie that much. He thinks it's just too dark for Indiana Jones, and he's not a big fan of the finished movie. But he says, but I'm so glad I did that movie because I met my wife through it. So and they're still together to this day, and they've got a bunch of kids.
But yeah, I mean that is the thing. Like I thought everybody liked this movie, and like and now I'm kind of finding out that that's not the case. Like I didn't. I mean I get it. It is like very dark, and I mean there was also like a lot of people kind of brought up the fact of the way people from India are kind of portrayed is maybe not the best light. So
I mean, it wasn't good for 1984, and it's only gotten worse with time because and I'm not going to present myself as like some big expert on Indian culture, but it's very stereotypical, and just all sorts of just inaccurate stuff. Like they don't eat bugs, they don't eat snakes. They don't.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like Indian food is delicious. That's what's one of my favorite cuisines. They don't whenever I go order Indian food, I never see monkey brains on the menu or beetles.
No, I've never once been offered that. It's like, would you like more naan? Yes, I would like some more naan.
Yes, exactly.
I would love some of that lovely chicken dish.
Yes, I'll have a samosa, please. Thank you.
Yes. And I'm a happy camper whenever I'm eating Indian food. And in this movie, and the weird thing is that nobody at the banquet acts like that's anything unusual, except for Willie and Short Round.
Exactly. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, we just eat we just open up this huge snake and other snakes slither out and we eat live snakes. I'm like,
does anyone do that? I don't think that's a thing at all.
Yeah, like I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I'm pretty sure that's not a thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're like trying to steer into the pulp of it all and just intentionally do stereotypical stuff, like kind of emulating pulps of the 30s and 40s.
That's the only.
That's the most generous interpretation you can have, I think.
Yeah, like maybe they were just trying to play into what the Americans think of them. Yeah. But still, it's like, still.
Yeah. Oh. And it was because of stuff like that in the script that they were denied permission to shoot in India. Like a lot of the location work in this movie was done in Sri Lanka.
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay. Yeah, because the people of India were like, yeah, we don't like how we come off in this. So no, you can't shoot here.
Rightfully so.
So no, you can't shoot here, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. No shoot here, Mr. Jones.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
How great is Short Round, though?
He is fantastic, yeah.
He is. I mean, that's a character that could easily become annoying in the wrong hands, but
right, like
he just plays it so well. Ke Huy Quan, he's just so great.
Yeah, he finds a way to make it like really sweet and endearing, and how much he truly cares about Indy. It's like he really is the heart of the movie. I think. No pun intended. But he is the heart.
Yeah, even if you don't like this movie, you still love Short Round. I don't think I've ever met an Indiana Jones fan who doesn't love Short Round. And it's so tough to make like a good kid sidekick work and not be like cloying or obnoxious or whatever. But he hits like just the right note.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I heard, well, this is his first film, and from what I heard, like he wasn't even trying to like audition to the film. I think he went there with his brother, and his brother was auditioning, and he was like kind of training his brother on how to do it. And I think like the casting director maybe saw him and was like, "Oh, that kid has got it. Maybe we should have him do it."
Right.
It was like one of those things.
I mean, that's a pretty incredible story. And then he acted in more films. I mean, he's probably also better known for The Goonies. And then he just recently won an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's like one of those, like, I mean, if you go to hear the story about him, you hear how, like, you know, for a while the acting roles just weren't coming to him and they kind of dried up, and he still wanted to keep his SAG card, so he just like did these other things. He was in Encino Man with Brendan Fraser, of course. But then, like, he just kind of left acting just because like the work wasn't there. Like, I also remember, I think mentioning like he got into like the stunt work, like stunt performers.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And he does a little bit of that. I mean, I guess he had a little bit of martial arts training because he does do a few moves during some of the fight scenes in this movie. Yeah, and like one of the stunt films he worked on was the very first X-Men movie back in 2000. Like he was doing stunt work with like Wolverine and whatnot. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Pretty awesome.
And then he ends up in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he ends up winning an Oscar for that. And Harrison Ford presents the award for Best Picture, so he gets to go up on stage with there. And like, there've been a few videos of him and Harrison Ford just kind of like reuniting and like hugging, and they both seem so damn happy to see each other. It's just so heartwarming.
Yeah, like, I mean, we can be pretty cynical people, you know, here on the podcast and everything, but when you see something like that, you're like, oh, that's it can't not warm your heart. You're like, maybe there is some good in this horrible, terrible world.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think they had seen each other since they'd done the movie, and then they were reunited during, I guess, the Oscar campaign. And and just seeing the two of them together, it's just so damn heartwarming. I could like watch that on a loop for 24 hours and not get bored.
Just single tear down your cheek.
It's a single manly tear.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
It's okay, man. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
So some of you listeners might be wondering, hey, why are we talking about this movie on an SNL podcast? Well, because Mr. Dan Aykroyd is in this movie. And like when you mentioned that he was in this movie, I was like, I don't remember him being in this movie. And rewatching it, I can absolutely see how I could have forgotten it, because he's in this movie for like maybe a minute.
No, I timed it. He's in this movie for under 30 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. And not even on camera for all those 30 seconds. Nary a close-up.
No close-up at all.
No close-up. He just kind of pops up. I mean, it is the very essence of a cameo role.
I was like, wow.
I mean, he has a character name. He's in a costume. I think he had a mustache.
Yeah, like I heard his voice. He had like, he's putting on like a British accent, you know, hey, hello there, that type of thing. Yeah. But like you said, like it's a far away shot. It's like, oh, and I'm Alt Weber, blah blah blah. Yes. I got you to play this as I could, Indy. Oh,
you will be riding with live poultry, Dr. Jones.
Yes, exactly.
I hope that's all right.
And it's like, aren't you Willie Scott, the famous singer? Like he gives a little bit of exposition for her.
Yeah, he does. He recognizes Willie because she's. I guess she's well known in Shanghai.
I mean,
the implication is that like Willie ended up in Shanghai because like she never really made a go of it in the States, I think.
I wish they would have gone more into her backstory, but they never really say anything like that. Or like explain like what does she do? Like what is she doing there? How does she like, you know? I mean, what's this blonde lady doing in Shanghai singing? Like how did this all happen? But they never really get into that at all.
No, they don't. And it would be nice if we got to know a little bit more of Willie as a character or as a person.
Yeah, but that would cut into the screaming time.
I mean, the 75% screaming, the 25% complaining. It's
exactly.
It's a formula, damn it.
Yeah, my dress is ruined. And scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have time for a backstory. This is supposed
to be what like all the men's rights activists see whenever a woman has a role in a movie.
Yeah.
This is how they perceive every female person in a movie.
Yeah, they scream, they complain, and they want to bang the lead. That's what
and they break their nails, and then they complain about that. And,
yeah. Oh,
what are we doing?
God. All right, but yeah, Dan Aykroyd is in the film for 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I timed it. It came out to, let's see, 27 seconds.
Jesus.
And that's being generous. That's being generous.
Wow.
But damn it, he is in the movie. He is billed. He has a name of a character. We are counting it as an SNL movie.
Yes.
Because it stars someone who is on SNL. And apparently, like, Dan Aykroyd just did that because he was such a fan of the first one.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he just asked to be a part of it, and Spielberg.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was just like, "Hey, I want to be a part of this." I think like he and Belushi, they wanted to be in the sequel to Star Wars, and they wanted to play like space creatures or something. And I don't think that ever ended up happening. So maybe that Indiana Jones was a consolation prize.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, good on him. Good on you.
I mean, he does a good job with what he got. He's not hamming it up too much.
Yeah, no, not at all. He's just, I mean, it's 30. How much hamming can you do in 30 seconds? 27 seconds.
It's Dan Aykroyd we're talking about here. He could ham it up in 30 seconds if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1984 Dan Aykroyd. He could ham it up.
Peak ham for Dan Aykroyd. Ham Aykroyd. I mean,
but by Dan Aykroyd standards, it's a very restrained performance.
Yeah.
He's not super goofy British guy. He's just British guy.
Yeah, hello there. Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's got glasses. He's got a mustache. He's not initially recognizable.
Well, he's not recognizable because the camera's like nowhere near him. It's like
it really isn't. It's like a long shot.
It's the longest of shots.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to keep talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, but it's fascinating.
Well, we want to harp on the SNL connection because that is the topic of our podcast, and yeah, it is a bit of a reach because he's not in the movie much. But so I want to make sure we give him his due.
Right. Absolutely. Very true. We salute you, Ham Aykroyd.
Ham Aykroyd. I love that. Ham Aykroyd. Nice shot. I mean, hey, I do not blame you. If I was a famous comedic actor in 1984, I would use that to parlay my fame into a part in an Indiana Jones movie. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the ticket, baby.
Yeah, and I guess he was still friendly with Spielberg from 1941. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it all connects. It all connects.
Mm-hmm. It all makes sense.
Yeah,
it all comes together.
So like in the first 10 minutes of this movie, there's the big fight or big shootout at the Club Obi-Wan. Then that goes directly into a car chase with Short Round behind the wheel and shooting,
running into rickshaw drivers.
Yeah, and then that goes to them getting to an airplane, making their escape. But the airplane belongs to the guy they were trying to rip off. So
I love the reveal of that, where it's Harrison Ford with he's leaning out the door of the airplane and he's like, "Better luck next time, Lao Shi." And then he closes the door and it just says Lao Shi Airlines on the door. Hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's actually a pretty good read. I did get a kick out of that. Yeah.
And
so then
they're flying from Shanghai to, I think it was Chongqing.
Yes.
And the pilots, because they're the bad guys, they dump the fuel and they bail out in midair. And Indy doesn't know how to fly.
Of course. So they look around, the parachutes are gone. So they find an inflatable raft. So all three of them get into an inflatable raft and jump out of the airplane and hit the ground, slide down a mountain, slide off a cliff and into some rolling rapids and survive all that, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. But 100% plausible.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched Mythbusters, but I was like, is this possible? Could you? I mean, I'm not going to do it, but I'll just you never know. It could work.
Mm-hmm. I think 100% possible. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then I guess we accept that adventure. Then we go into the next adventure when they find they're in India and they stumble upon this very poor country, a poor town, and they talk about how one of their stones that was protecting the country has been missing. So Indiana becomes part of trying to be the person to try to get back the stones from the Maharaja that stole it, who lives in the palace, Pankot Palace.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. They're like, hey, Indiana Jones, there's bad stuff going down here. You have to help us get the Sankara stone back, which is sacred to our village. And so you have to go to Pankot Palace to do that. And Indy's like, no, I have to go to Delhi because I have to get back to my university.
Right. Because
apparently he's having this adventure in the middle of the school year. Or maybe on a break or something. I don't know. They never say when in 1935 it takes place, but I guess it's during the school year.
Yeah, like that's the thing, like, because you think Indiana Jones is this great adventurer, but then each movie makes you, let you know, like, oh no, he's just like a college professor and an archaeologist. He's like, it's like a nerdy dude. He has tenure, I guess, at the college. So when does he have time to go off all these jet setting at event? Like, does he have like a bunch of vacation days, or like you said, they just do it during the summer?
I think there's a great piece. I think it was on McSweeney's, which was like a letter sent to Indiana Jones. It's like firing him from the university because he takes too much time away from his classes to do all these things, and he doesn't like properly cite his sources in his reports, and he's like, Dr. Jones, your report on how the power of God blew up Nazis, that's not an acceptable source.
I was there. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Nazis' faces melted off.
And you know what? That's kind of a weird thing about this movie is Raiders takes place, I think, in like 1936, and this takes place the year before 1935.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize that.
And I'm not exactly sure why. I think I don't know. Maybe it's because they say that Short Round's parents were killed in the bombing of Shanghai. Yeah. And that kind of fixed it in time.
I guess so.
Well, I think like Lucas also said like he didn't want to feature Nazis in the sequel. Oh. So maybe that's why they backed it up in time. I don't know. It's vague.
Interesting. Wow, so this movie's like a prequel.
It's a prequel. And that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I did see it in the right order then. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching them in chronological order, this is the way to go. Like, Temple of Doom comes first, and then Raiders.
Okay.
And Indy does seem like maybe a little more cynical in this one than he did in the first.
Yeah, he seems to be a bit of a cad in this one. So, I mean, especially like with the way he talks to Willie in the beginning and whatnot. He seems to be a little more gruff around the edges and what have you.
Yeah. It's like I'm doing it for fortune and glory.
Yeah,
fortune and glory. That's his mantra in this.
Yeah, fortune and glory, doll face. You get me?
Yeah.
I mean,
he does call Willie doll a few times. Which is that's kind of fun, just because that's probably what a hero would have called the lady in.
Yeah, or Toots or Sugar or something like that. Yeah, something endearing like that.
Well, and also Harrison Ford's so damn charming, he can get away with that.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're that charming, you're
that charming, if you're that handsome, and if you're Harrison Ford in 1984, you're like, that is perfectly acceptable. Women will like write on their eyelids, love you, to get with you.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene. That was so crazy. Like, how do you do that? Like, how can you see you're doing it right? Like, you gotta get
you either get like a roommate to help you out with it, I think, or you just very carefully work in the mirror and you make sure to write backwards.
That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. It seems potentially painful. I would not want to write on my eyelids.
Yeah, just pass him a note. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, but she's trying to get his attention, and I mean, hey, we're talking about that character 40 years later. So
that's true. Yeah,
maybe it worked.
Yeah, very memorable. She knows what she was doing.
Yep,
absolutely. But yeah, so like then they get to the palace. I think the palace scene was pretty cool as well. Like, the
movie really seems to slow down, like in the middle. You know, it's not quite the breakneck speed that the first movie was, that Raiders was. Did you get that at all?
It did a little bit, but I mean, the only reason I think it did is because like they were doing that thing that movies do where they have to put in, the exposition to sort of explain like who's who and what's going on, and to sort of like laying down the groundwork and doing the the background info about what's happening about the what, Thuggy cult and
the Thuggy cult, which was a real thing. I mean, that's where we get the word thugs from.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. I had no idea about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we get to meeting like when he meets with the prime minister to the Maharaj, and the Maharaj, that's we see the Maharaj like a little kid, and so yeah, it's just basically just doing like sort of background work about the culture a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I guess they tried to break that up and make it a little bit more exciting with eyeball soup and monkey brains.
Yeah,
but God, that was
but
really
it's so
gross.
Stereotypical. It's just
but
it
does slow down a bit.
Yeah,
it's just like, I mean, I guess they were trying to go off some like gross out here, but like I don't know, it was the eyeball soup. I'm like, oh God, it still makes me feel like a little queasy just seeing those scenes.
Yeah, I'm not a big one for gross, so I don't think that went over big with me. No, like not even when I was like 12 when I saw this movie. So
right, yeah, it's a little, but yeah, it does slow down a bit. It starts to even like that scene where they go to they all go to bed at the palace, and we see like Indy trying to maybe put the moves on Willie a little bit because that's what a man's want to do. I did like that one line where Indy's talking to Short Round and he says, "Oh, I think I'll go check in on Willie," and Short Round says, "Well, that's all you better do."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I like Short Round. He's kind of taking care of Indy or looking out for Indy. That's fun. And Indy and Willie, they do have some fun back and forth in that scene. If they'd had a little more of that banter throughout, I would have, throughout the whole movie, I think I would have dug Willie and her dynamic with Indy more. But like that's the only scene where she seems to have any sort of backbone,
Right. Oh, like with the scene where he's like putting the moves on her and trying to, and there's like the sexual tension, the primitive sexual practices, as he says.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wish he was more of like a cool 40s dame, like because you see those in a lot of movies from the 30s and 40s, and they're like go-getters, and they got a lot of moxie.
Yeah. Hey, what's the big idea there, chum? You think I'm talking about two-time
wish he had a little of that, but Willie just seems thoroughly 80s to me. I mean, from like her hairstyle on down.
Yeah. Again, I mean, like that scene is supposed to be where like Indy and Willie sort of show their chemistry, but I mean the chemistry is kind of there, but not quite. It's
not in the big. I mean, it's certainly nothing like Harrison Ford and Karen Allen. Like he says in Crystal Skull when he gets back together with Marion, he's like, yeah, there were other women, but they all had one problem. None of them were you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So that's cute, but it was kind of like the series acknowledging that none of the other love interests he had were match of Marion. There was one thing I'd totally forgotten about during the dinner scene where they had some fun kind of references to like these off-screen adventures that Indy had. Where the prime minister's like, oh yeah, in Honduras you're accused of being a grave robber rather than an archaeologist, and he just goes, yeah, the newspapers greatly exaggerated that incident.
Fake
news. And then he says, the Sultan of Madagascar threatened to cut off your head if you ever return to his country, and he goes, oh, it wasn't my head. Oh, your hands. He goes, no, it wasn't my hands. And I'm like, we are just straight up making a joke about Indy getting his dick cut off.
Yeah, we sure are. Yeah. PG, people. This is a PG movie.
What the hell happened in Madagascar? Who did Indy sleep with that he wasn't supposed to?
Oh, I think you know.
I want to know. I want that movie.
Indiana Bones. What?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's also weird how like everybody knows who Indiana Jones is. Like it seems like his reputation precedes him.
Yeah, everybody's heard of him. They're like, oh, Indiana Jones, the famous archaeologist. And I don't know if he was really that famous in the first movie. I don't remember that happening. But
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's also weird that we don't get to the main villain of the movie, Mola Ram, until like an hour in when they go into the caves under the palace.
Yeah, that is true. Like, we're told about him when they're at the village and like how he, brought darkness over the country and he stole their stone and their crops died and their animals died and their children were kidnapped. Which that's another thing. Like all the kids in the town were kidnapped, which is horrible. So like
also
we hear
dark, also very dark.
Yeah,
we got kidnapped kids working in a mine, and they're digging in this mine because there were like 5 Sankara stones, and Mola Ram's gotten like he's looking for the 2 that he doesn't have, and I was like, oh, so he's Thanos. He's Thanos. He's looking for like the last couple Infinity Stones. He was Thanos before there was Thanos.
Right. That's right. He was the first Thanos. Yeah, but
hashtag OG Thanos.
That's right. Hashtag let's get him trending, guys. Like there's like we don't, like you said, like we don't meet him or see him until an hour into the movie. Maybe I would have liked to have sort of him to come in a little bit earlier or do like, I don't know, flashbacks or something. But
it might have been fun if like, maybe when Indy's on his way to India, we have a scene of like, Mola Ram kidnapping the kids or doing something heinous, just so we kind of get a sense of him and what's going on. Even if Indy's not aware of it, it would have been cool if like we as the audience had seen him like doing bad guy stuff beforehand.
Yeah, just like get an idea of, who we're dealing with here. Like around here, around this part, the movie does slow down. It starts to pick up again when Indy gets attacked in his hotel, in his room, in his bedroom. And then he ends up like, I think Short Round next door wakes up and helps him and throws him his whip. And he ends up like putting the whip around the guy's neck. And like the whip goes over the ceiling fan and then ends up raising the guy. And he's hung by his neck by a whip. I'm like, Jesus.
On a ceiling fan,
On a ceiling fan. Like, Jesus. This is.
I mean, that's a cool way to kill somebody off. I'll give him that. It's
pretty awesome. Yeah, it is cool, but still, it's like it's still a gruesome image, though. So,
yikes!
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Right, and then that's when the movie picks up. That's when he finds a secret passageway in his bedroom, and then they go through it. That's when the tunnel of bugs, just like huge, like those were actual bugs, right? Like they got like
I was reading on the IMDb trivia that Kate Capshaw, I think she said she was covered by over 2,000 bugs at one point. So it says she took sedatives prior to the scene to get over her initial fear and claimed they definitely worked. So
yeah, I get it, because like there was like a huge centipede on her shoulder at one point. I was like, like, I don't know. I'm like Indiana Jones with snakes, except with bugs. I hate bugs.
I think I'm okay with snakes. I never really run into snakes, and generally okay with bugs. I'm bigger than them. What gets me are the creatures that are in the third movie, rats.
Oh wow, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm like Henry Jones in that regard. I can't stand rats.
Okay. No, I get it. Rats are yuck. But
they just crawl over everything, and it's
Yeah, and just that squeaking noise they make is just.
All
right, let's not talk about
people who have like pet rats. I mean, God bless you, but I don't want to get in 2,000 feet of them.
Yeah, like that movie Wilfred, or what is it? Like Ratcatcher from Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Ratatouille is about as far as I can go with appreciating the rats.
That rat's okay. That's the good
animated rats I'm okay with.
Yes.
Ratatouille, the Rat in Charlotte's Web.
Right. Tom and Jerry.
Other animated rats.
Yeah. Guys, tweet at us your favorite animated rat when you can.
Yeah.
So then we we finally meet our villain, Mola Ram, and we see I remember the first time I saw this scene as a kid. It kind of like
ripping the heart out.
It's like So it's a thuggy ceremony where they worship Kali, and they're doing this human sacrifice. It's a pretty I guess it would be called an iconic scene where they rip the heart out of a dude.
I mean, it's certainly a memorable scene. It's I have kind of fond memories of that scene because I remember like watching the movie on cable with my sister, and I'm not sure if my sister had seen it before, but she got kind of squeamish, and she was like closing her eyes, and she was like, "Okay, let me know what's over." And I, of course, being a horrible younger brother, I would tell her to open her eyes right before the goriest part.
I've done that too.
Okay, open your eyes now, and then digging the fingertips into the chest cavity.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I've done that too. You're not alone.
Yeah, yeah. It's your duty as a younger brother.
Yes, you have
to do that.
You have to traumatize your sibling. That's how they grow up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's not too often as a younger brother that you get to have the upper hand on your sister. So you take advantage of that wherever you can.
Yes, Kalima.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that there's no basis in fact for any of this. They just did whatever the hell they wanted because they thought it would make a cool scene. And it kind of does. I mean, he somehow lives after he gets his heart ripped out, and then he's lowered into a fire pit where he like explodes in the fire pit.
Yeah, exactly. Was that a volcano or a fire? I guess they're both the same.
One of those. I don't know.
Yeah, but that scene was first time I saw that. I was like, "Whoa, that is."
And
really something.
We find out that like the prime minister and the Maharaja they're both like under Mola Ram's spell. He's like hypnotized them somehow.
Oh yes, the black sleep, I think they called it.
Yeah. And like there's voodoo stuff. Like the Maharaja has like a little voodoo doll that he's made of Indy, and he's like sticking that with needles.
A lot of Santeria in this. Yeah,
and Indy's like doubling over in pain. And Short Round has to, it's nice that they have another kid for Short Round to fight.
Yeah, exactly. He can't fight grown-ups. He needs to fight someone his own size.
Let's have these 2 8-year-olds just beat the hell out of each other.
Child fights.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, I mean, if you did that in life, I mean, the cops would be on you like that. You do it in a movie, totally okay.
Totally fine.
It's supervised.
It's good entertainment.
It's supervised. It's choreographed. It's totally cool, guys.
Yes, totally fun. Absolutely.
There's a really interesting bit of trivia here on IMDb. I'm going to just read this verbatim. While filming the whipping scene, the crew played a practical joke on Harrison Ford. While he was chained to a large stone, Barbara Streisand appeared, dressed in a leather dominatrix outfit. She proceeded to whip him, saying, "That's for Hanover Street, the worst movie I ever saw." She continued whipping him for Star Wars and making all of that money. Carrie Fisher then threw herself in front of Ford to protect him, and Irvin Kershner chided director Steven Spielberg, "Is this how you run your movies?" This entire sequence was filmed.
Wow. That is
a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. I mean, Carrie Fisher, I get because she worked
because they had a thing back in the day.
Where does Barbara Streisand?
Apparently, like if you call up Barbara Streisand, she is just ready to show up on your set in a leather dominatrix outfit.
Yeah, she has one like in her closet.
I guess either she has one that is ready to go, or the film crew set her up with one. I don't know which is better or worse, but
that's weird. Like, was she friends with Harrison Ford, or
I would hope so.
Yeah, no, just such a random celebrity just to come in and be like,
it really is.
It's like Harrison Ford probably turn around like, "Do I know you? Why are you doing this? We've never met." Yeah, Babs, it's me. What are you talking? What are you doing here?
But I mean, I guess you get you only get so many opportunities in your life to hit Harrison Ford with a whip. So
yeah,
you have to take those opportunities when you can.
When that opportunity comes, you got to grab it. You got to grab it.
Yeah,
makes sense. But wow, what a prank! Like, so is that available anywhere or like streaming?
I don't know. I want to check on YouTube and see if there is actual video of that. It says if it was filmed. It doesn't say if that footage was publicly released. I don't know.
Okay, it's probably in the.
Don't know.
Probably in the vault.
I don't know
somewhere.
If I want to see that or not. I guess
might be the Disney vault right at this point.
That should be on the extras on Disney Plus. It's like,
yes.
See Barbara Streisand whipping Harrison Ford.
It's like, no, keep that in the vault next to Songs of the South. Make sure it doesn't get out.
Yeah. Traumatize a whole generation for a different reason.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but apparently Harrison Ford was like severely injured shooting the movie. He had a herniated disc in his back, and they had to shut down production while he was flown to Los Angeles, and he got spinal surgery.
Oh, Jesus.
So for a lot of the fight sequences in the mine and the chases and stuff, he's being doubled by his regular stuntman, Vic Armstrong.
Oh, wow.
And apparently he looked enough and moved enough like Ford that you can't really notice it. And it's, dark in the mines anyway, so.
Right, yeah, no, I didn't even notice that. I had no idea he got hurt that badly.
Yeah, but if you see you can find pictures of Harrison Ford standing next to Vic Armstrong, and they do look eerily alike at that time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Ladies.
So.
2 young Harrison Fords, what?
Yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, like I think, yeah, this is where again, like we've been saying, this movie's been super dark. This is where it keeps getting dark, because like at this point is where Willie and Short Round and Indy get captured, and I think at this point Indy he actually stole the stones, but he got caught, so they decide to make him drink the blood of Kali to put him in the deep sleep, which I guess puts him in like a kind of like a zombie-like state where he's not under his own control, his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like a whipping scene too, where they whip Short Round and Indy, which is
I forgot that they whipped Short Round. I mean, I remember that Indy had his shirt off and was chained and was getting whipped in the back, but yeah, I'd kind of forgotten they whipped Short Round too. I was like, ooh, yikes!
Yeah, I know, it's like have this kid fight other kids and getting whipped. I was like, my God,
he put this kid through the ringer on this. I mean. Apparently, it was a good experience for him in real life, and that's the most important thing. But wow.
I should hope so, because like, wow, it is crazy.
This is interesting. They named the 3 main characters in this movie after dogs. Short Round was named after screenwriter Willard Yuck's dog, which was named after the orphan in The Steel Helmet, a movie from 1951. Willie was named after Steven Spielberg's dog, and Indiana was named after George Lucas's dog.
Oh.
So apparently they just like naming people after dogs in the Indiana Jones movies.
Okay. I could see that. Everybody likes a good dog.
I wonder if Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is named after somebody's dog, just to keep that tradition alive.
Oh, maybe. What's her character's name in the new movie?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, well, we'll look it up. Listeners, call in. Tell us who Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character's name is in the new movie. But yeah, so at this point, this is where we see they're going to sacrifice Willie, and Indiana is still under the mind control. Then we see they also shackled Short Round to a chain and have him digging in the mines, but he's able to escape by breaking the chains. And then we get this cool little action scene with Short Round running from the guards. I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, climbing up ropes.
Short Round's just awesome.
He really is. Like, if you look at the stuff that he does in here, it's pretty impressive. Like, there's that one scene.
I loved him at 12, and I love him now as an adult. I think he just works beautifully in this movie. Yeah,
very much so. So then he escapes. He's able to get to Indy, and he's able to get him out of the trance by just taking a torch and burning him, which I guess snaps him out of it.
Yeah.
And so then they fight, and then they rescue Willie out of the contraption so she doesn't get sacrificed.
Right, and she's in this whole. We haven't really discussed it. Like she gets into like some big extensive Maharaja type getup,
right? Like an Indian, right?
Well, no, I guess they put her back into that when they're about to sacrifice her. So yeah, she does change out of it, and then they put her back in it.
Yeah, because like I think when she went to the tunnel with the bug, she was like in her pajamas.
Yeah,
and then when she
gets in
gets
the bathroom in pajamas, yeah,
and then when they capture her, then they I guess have an outfit on hand for her to put her in.
Or maybe I guess they sent somebody back to the palace for it. like at the chase at the end, I noticed I was like, holy crap, Kate Capshaw is barefoot in this. I would not want to be like climbing on those rocks and everything barefoot.
Yeah.
I hope she only had to do that in like a few shots or something.
I hope so. Yeah, like that's got to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like Indy gets torched. He snaps out of it. They get Willie. They make a break for it. They rescue all the kids. They're able to get like the keys and take out other guards. Some pretty awesome fights with him with Indy and one of the guards.
Yeah.
And what was it? Like there was actually one point where like Indy has like, I think he had like this big hammer, and he like kind of throws it at the guy, but then he ends up hitting like some other dude just behind him, just on the head, just like almost like Three Stooges style.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I know one of the big guards that he fights with in the mines is as Pat Roach, who also played the Nazi mechanic that he fought by the airplane in the first one, and he played like a henchman in the bar fight in Marion's bar in the first one. They would just make him up to look like different henchmen and different ethnicities that he wasn't.
Oh boy, it's a different time, people. It's a different time.
I guess he's in brownface for this. He's playing an Indian guy, so I guess he was in brownface of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah,
it's a little sketchy, maybe, but
but yeah, then they're able to make their escape. One of the guards get killed in like that huge roller thing, which as a kid, I thought that was pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But then they go on, which is, as a kid, I thought was the coolest part of the movie, the minecart chase. Like, that was awesome.
That is pretty cool. And I understand that was like a sequence that they had planned for the first movie, and they just, I don't know if they didn't have the time for it or they didn't have the budget for it, but they cut that sequence out of the movie, and so they put it in the sequel.
Okay.
And there were a few other gags like that too, like in the Club Obi-Wan sequence at the beginning where Indy breaks that giant gong and he's like shielding himself from the machine gun fire as that's rolling along. That was a gag that they planned for the first movie.
Oh, really?
They couldn't do. Yeah.
Oh.
So they just put him in this movie and built new sequences out of him.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, like I remember as a kid, like the minecart scene just was like, oh, this looks awesome. I think they actually made that into a ride at Disney or somewhere. I feel like they made it into a roller coaster ride somewhere. But
I mean, if they didn't, they totally should have. It seems like such a natural.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe it was a video game. It might have been a video game. It was something. It was like a video game or a roller coaster ride or something. But either way, like, I don't know, it's just one of the coolest scenes. And like them in like a runaway minecart and people right behind them trying to jump in and just taking all these twists and turns. I was like, oh, that's awesome. How can I take that right?
I mean, like you watch the sequences, like the movie. I mean, I've got problems with the movie story-wise and, with the character Willie in particular, but the movie is so beautifully directed.
Really is.
I mean, Spielberg, just the way he tells a story with his shots, he's just like technically one of the best directors out there,
I would say so, yeah. I mean, he's there's a reason he's considered one of the greats, because he's pretty damn good.
100%.
Yeah, like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, even in this movie, which I think audiences, and certainly he does, consider one of his lesser movies. It's still like beautifully done.
All right. Yeah, but why do people consider that one of his lesser movies? I thought it was still a pretty strong movie the first time I saw it.
I think it's perfectly fine. I just think it's not on the level of Raiders or Last Crusade.
All right. What do you think Raiders had that this one doesn't?
Well, I think Raiders has a lot more depth to it.
Okay.
I think the script for Raiders is much better because, like, they had Lawrence Kasdan doing the script for Raiders, and he's a much better writer. And he refused. He didn't do this one. He passed on Temple of Doom.
Oh, okay.
He was like, I think it's too dark. So he wasn't interested. I don't think he came back for Last Crusade.
Okay.
Yeah, Last Crusade was Jeffrey Boehm, I think. And I found a quote from Spielberg. He says, in 1989, I wasn't happy with Temple of Doom at all. It was too dark, too subterranean, and much too horrific. I thought it out-poltered Poltergeist. There's not an ounce of my own personal feeling in Temple of Doom. He later added during the making of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom documentary, Temple of Doom is my least favorite of the trilogy. I look back and I say, well, the greatest thing that I got out of that was I met Kate Capshaw. We married years later, and that to me was the reason I was fated to make Temple of Doom.
Wow.
So that's sweet.
That's sweet. Okay. Sweet. But yeah, it's I think it's still a good movie. But yeah, I guess I'd have to go back and watch Raiders and Last Crusade to compare them. Like I haven't seen either one of those movies in in years. So like,
I don't dislike this movie by any means. I just think it's definitely the least of the original trilogy, but
okay.
I mean, my rankings, I'd probably put Raiders at the top, then Last Crusade, then Temple of Doom, then Crystal Skull, and that's probably how most people rank them.
Yeah, Crystal Skull
guess.
was
probably
Crystal Skull was a stinker.
Yeah. I haven't watched Crystal Skull all the way through since it was out, and I think I wanted to like revisit the other Indiana Jones movies before I see Dial of Destiny. I think.
Okay.
Because I just like him to be fresh in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of cap yourself. Catch up on everything and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we get to the big bridge scene where Willie and Indy and Short Round escape the tunnel. They let the kids escape. The kids ran back to town, and like they're able to cross this like huge rope bridge over like a pit of crocodiles in order to get to the other side, and then they're home free. But then we find out that Mola Ram and his men are like already at the other end of the bridge.
They're on either side of the bridge.
Either side of the bridge.
Indy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Mola Ram's like, say, give me back the stones, or your lady gets it.
Yeah, he's threatening to dump the stones. He's got them in his satchel, because Indiana Jones wears one, and he's going to dump them over the edge. And Mola Ram's just like, yeah, let them go. We'll find the stones. We won't find you. that was a great villain line. Like the guy playing Mola Ram.
He's really good too. He's fantastic.
He's really good. He makes the most of his screen time. Hang on, let me scroll up and find his name somewhere up here. Amrish Puri. Ooh. And it says here he shaved his head for the role of Mola Ram, and it created such an impression that he kept this look and became one of India's most popular film villains.
Oh,
so I guess this started a whole new career for him as a bald film villain.
Okay, pushing that bald stereotype that all bald men are villains. Not all bald men, sir.
Yeah,
cool.
That's true.
Gotta stop pushing that narrative.
They're either evil or they're getting slapped on the head by Benny Hill.
Yes,
there's not a whole lot of options.
Exactly. Bold representation needs to be acknowledged.
Bald justice.
Bald justice. That just sounds like a cop show with two bald guys.
That will be the name of our eventual cop show. Yes.
Yes. Bald justice. Oh man, it writes itself. But yeah, so then we get to this cool bridge scene where I think Indy threatens to like cut the bridge or cut the ropes on the bridge. Mm-hmm. I think Mola Ram probably thinks he's bluffing, and then Indy says something to Short Round in Chinese, and he says, "Oh, it's like," and then both of them just hold on to the ropes or tie their arms around the ropes.
Yeah. He speaks to Short Round in Mandarin, and there's I was reading like there's a setup for that earlier in the movie, like in the opening scene. I think Lao Shi was like, "Oh, I didn't know you spoke our language, Dr. Jones," and Indy goes like, "On special occasions." So like they kind of set up that Indy knows how to speak Mandarin.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think at this point, this is where Indy says that cool line, "Mola Ram, prepare to meet Kali in hell." Just all badass. And then he cuts the rope, and of course the bridge breaks. Yeah. All the henchmen fall into the alligator waters. And it's a pretty harrowing scene.
Wilhelm screams up the wazoo.
Yes. So many Wilhelm screams. I think there are like 5 of them throughout this whole movie.
Like once you become aware of those, they will pop out at you in every action movie you see, because like directors love using it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's gotten really old. I mean, but
a little bit, but you hear it, they're like, oh, all right, I still like it.
Everybody wants to be in the Wilhelm scream club.
Yes, exactly.
It was taken from like this old movie from I think the 50s called Jungle Drums, and I think that was Wilhelm was the name of the character that screamed that way, and they just dubbed that scream into.
I like it.
Every damn movie they can.
Just keep using it.
Yeah, and I know the splitting the bridge gag was from a serial called Zorro's Fighting Legion, where they did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Spielberg loves his homages, man.
He loves them. He loves them. But yeah, it was
can't get enough of them.
Yes, I tip my hat to the homages.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really cool scene, like where we see like Short Round and Willie hanging onto the bridge right over the cliff, and then we just see Mola Ram and Indy just fighting it out for the stones. And I think at one point we think Mola Ram's gonna like try to pull the heart out of Indy's chest.
Yeah.
For a minute, which
he's starting to dig his fingers in, and then like Indy, he starts saying the words that like activate the stones, I guess. So they start like flaming in his bag.
Exactly, and but then the stones fall, and then the stones fall out of the bag. I think the third one was about to fall, but then Mola Ram tried to catch it, but it was like still on fire because they glow. There's like a diamond in them, and then but he drops it, and then Indy catches it. So I guess it cooled down in between the time he had it and Indy had it, and then we just see like Mola Ram fall.
Did he catch the stone itself, or did he catch the bag that had the stone?
I thought he caught the stone.
Okay. Well, I'll take your word for it.
I'm pretty sure it's stone. But and then he just Mola Ram falls to his death, eaten by alligators, and then Indy.
We see him like bouncing off the walls, off the cliff as he goes down. I'm like, wow.
I remember that too. Like seeing that for the first time, I was like, oh, jeez, PG people. This is a PG movie.
PG.
Mother,
I think if anybody but Spielberg and Lucas had done this movie, it would be like R.
Yeah.
R.
Big red R.
Yeah.
But so then Indy. Oh, and then we also see like the captain he met at the palace come to the rescue and help out, and then shooting the other henchmen as the other henchmen are shooting arrows. So the cavalry's been called in, and then Indy's able to get the stone and. Happy ending all around. He takes
the British Empire comes in and saves the day.
Yes, hooray for the Brits.
And because they do that, nothing bad will ever happen in India ever again.
Nope, that's it.
The British have it well in hand.
That's right.
Thank God for white imperialism.
Oh, God. I'm not going to say that. Oh boy, but then we get our nice little happy ending. The village gets their children back. They get their stone back.
Yeah. They have a raging kegger.
Yeah, they have a raging kegger. Yeah, it's like the end of Caddyshack, where you just hear Kenny Loggins and everybody's dancing around.
Yeah, I thought it was a little disconcerting when they dubbed in Rodney Dangerfield saying, "Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid," and then there's the big cheer. That took me out of the movie a little bit.
Oh, did it? I thought it made the movie.
Yeah.
I'm all right. That was great.
And then we have Otis Day and the Knights playing at the toga party for some reason. I don't know what that was about.
Diversity. They just happened to be touring in Delhi, and they just were like, "Hey, man, y'all like to party?" And then they just
gig's a gig. Yeah,
gig's a gig, man. Hey, check clears. You got to go there.
We're not going to play for the Deltas for like another 18 years. So,
got to warm up. Exactly. Got to pay our dues. But like Willie and Indy have a moment. They embrace and kiss, and actually they do kiss, and then
she starts walking away, and he uses his whip to grab her by the waist and like pull her back. Yeah. Like she says, I'm not going to have anything nice to say about this place when I get back. And I'm just like, what is Willie going to give this place a low Airbnb rating or something? I'm like, Willie Scott is a Karen.
Yeah. It's like, would not 1 star, do not recommend.
She is a total Karen. She was like, half of the movie, she's like, I want to speak to the manager.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Sir, can I speak to your manager, sir? Like, oh. I don't know,
she was just like about 10 seconds away from pulling out her iPhone and just like recording everything.
I'm recording this. Yeah. Oh boy. And that's the movie pretty much. I I still think it's a strong movie. Like, I mean, yes, it does. I think it does have its problems, and a lot of the things they do with certain sects of people may not be may have not aged as well. But
and I think even the people who made the movie would admit that.
But there is a lot of good stuff in here.
It is still it is still a fun movie. It does get very dark, and it does get very horrific, and it gets kind of gross.
It gets a little. I will admit, it does get a little too dark in spots. I mean, kidnapping children, eyeball soup, man getting hung by a whip from a ceiling fan. Ripping out a man getting his heart ripped out of his chest and set on fire.
That's a lot to pack into one movie.
It's a lot. I will admit it's a lot. But I think I also heard that it's one of the reasons it might be kind of dark. It's wasn't George Lucas going through a divorce at the time? And
both Lucas and Spielberg were going through a divorce, and that's kind of why they say that they were both in, as you might expect, kind of bad moods.
Yeah.
So they were in a dark place.
This is like they're in the air tonight, I guess.
Yeah. So, maybe that's why Willie's so annoying, because maybe they were like, women are no good.
Oh, wow. You might have stumbled upon something there, man.
Maybe. Because I don't know who. Oh, yeah. Spielberg was married to Amy Irving. That was his first wife. And I know... Right. Lucas's first wife was his, who edited Star Wars, Marcia Lucas, I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So this is basically like a dude being like, girls ain't nothing but trouble.
Yeah. So they probably had like a little He-Man woman haters club action going on.
Yeah. Great movie, bro. Right, bro?
Yeah, but I guess they grew out of that. So
I would hope they would have. But yeah, other than the few qualms I have about it, it is a solid movie. It does have a lot of action and spills and thrills and everything. I would still recommend it to people. I think it's still pretty strong.
It's still a fun watch. It's still worth seeing, I think, especially if you like the Indiana Jones movies in general. Yeah. Before you were talking about them bailing out of the airplane in the life raft, I just found a little bit of trivia on it. Apparently, the Mythbusters did test that in 2005. Escape slide parachute. It says during the season 3 episode of Mythbusters in 2005, Escape slide parachute. The team tested the plausibility of surviving a fall from an airplane in a life raft, as depicted in the movie. After 3 drops with their test dummy in a raft, they determined that it was not possible to survive as shown in the film. Therefore, despite the lack of scientific rigor, the myth was deemed busted. So,
yeah, that sounds about right. Because it was the 3 of them in a raft, and then they just hit the ground hard, and then just kind of slipped. That doesn't.
And then suddenly it's like a sled, and the raft doesn't burst open, or it doesn't turn over. With their weight.
No, not at all.
I think every Indiana Jones movie has at least one wildly implausible stunt. In Crystal Skull, it's the surviving the nuclear explosion in the lead-lined fridge.
Right. Yeah, they were basically the Fast and Furious of their day. Those movies.
They kind of were, yeah.
where you have to all right, I'll suspend disbelief just this once here for this movie.
Yeah. You just kind of have to go along for the ride and check your brain a little bit.
Absolutely.
It doesn't give you a steady diet of that stuff, but 1 or 2 of those in a movie, that can be kind of fun.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess that's the movie. That's our episode. Was there any other trivia facts or tidbits?
Oh, let me see. Let's see. It says Chris Columbus wrote a script for this movie in which Indiana traveled to Africa and dueled a monkey prince. It was rejected because of too many negative African stereotypes. But a tank chase sequence in the script was later used in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So it could have been racist in a whole different way.
It could have been way more problematic.
So, I guess in 1984, African stereotypes were a no-no. Indian stereotypes, A-okay.
Thumbs up. Oh.
That's good to know where we were in 1984, yes. I guess.
We're progressing. We're getting there.
We're not going to say racism is bad against all races at once. That would be absurd.
No, that's insane.
We're just going to do it ethnicity by ethnicity.
Yeah. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So we put the word out on the Twitter sphere that we were doing this movie, and we got some responses for this one.
Yeah.
Fan base there.
Yeah, let's see. Our friend Rini at Fangirls Dilemma, who guest starred on our episode on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, she says, while not the best of the Indiana Jones movies, it is the one where he is the most shirtless, which is a kind of best. It's the one I've rewatched the least, though, so I have fewer opinions on it than the other two. I'm pretty much the same on it. I haven't rewatched it as much as the other two in the original trilogy. I have no real opinion on Harrison Ford being more shirtless, but I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, I can totally get why this would be a favorite. Dude,
the beefcake back in his day. I get it.
Yeah, and he worked out a lot for this movie because he knew he was going to be shirtless for a good chunk of it, and apparently, he was in pretty good shape. So when he got that herniated disc in his back, that helped him recover faster.
Oh, nice! Awesome. So guys, if you want to get into good shape this summer, star in a blockbuster movie where you'll have to be shirtless for most of it.
That'll do it. Because then you'll have a trainer, you'll have a nutritionist, you'll have all the tools.
Yeah, you'll be in Marvel movie shape.
Yep.
Yeah, and we also heard from the good people at Telehell Podcast.
Yes,
talking about minutes, far less than that, and then they put the clip of Dan Aykroyd in Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, which, as you said, 27 seconds.
27 seconds. Yeah, you said in our initial tweet he's in it for a few minutes, and that isn't strictly true. He is in it for a few seconds.
I thought he was in it for at least a minute or two.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Darren hasn't rewatched this movie in a while because
it's been a minute.
Yeah,
27 seconds. That's almost insulting.
I mean, but I think it's kind of cool when you see somebody of the stature of Dan Aykroyd, who was a pretty big star in 1984, just pop up and then just disappear for the rest of the movie. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's something kind of cool about that.
Especially when they don't even give him a gratuitous close up.
That's why I didn't recognize it because I didn't even. I remember seeing his face because I kind of didn't see his face.
Because if they did, it might have taken you out of the movie. It's not. I mean, it's early in the movie, but it's not so early that it wouldn't break the spell a little bit. I think
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, so I think that was probably a good call on Steven Spielberg's part.
I think so.
That's Steven Spielberg. He knows how to make movies, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to go places, that kid.
He's got a bright future ahead of him. And, he directed a musical number at the beginning of this one.
Yeah.
Maybe he should do a full-length movie musical someday.
Maybe someday. Spielberg, if you're listening, just, stick with it. I think your big break is coming up soon.
Yeah. He's been in the trenches for long enough. It's really time for him to break through.
Yeah.
And make something up. That's something we haven't talked about with the new one. Is how do you feel about it being directed by somebody besides Steven Spielberg? Are you nervous about that?
A little bit. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it can turn out okay when a movie is directed by someone who didn't direct the original movies. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they get the tone right. Sometimes they're able to sort of expand on the character in the movies in a way that feel natural and organic, but don't feel weird or whatever. But sometimes it can go the wrong way, and sometimes the director will have their own vision of how the character should be, and it just comes off.
I don't get the feel that they're really doing that in this one. I mean, the trailer I saw, it felt like Indiana Jones to me.
Okay.
And supposedly, when Spielberg saw this new one, he turned to James Mangold and said, "I thought I was the only one who knew how to make these."
Oh,
so, that's a nice vote of confidence.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, And you know, I'm trying not to find out too much else about the movie because I want to go into it kind of fresh.
Right.
It should be. I don't want to ruin it for myself. And
no, you gotta stay off the interwebs and just avoid all the spoilers and what have you.
I got to start muting those hashtags. I was doing that for Spider-Verse and the Flash movie, and I still got spoiled on something for the Flash movie.
Yeah, you really gotta be like. Whenever I'm planning on seeing like a big movie, I try to avoid. Definitely try to avoid Twitter and YouTube. Now I have to avoid too because like people just like to sort of like videotape like a big spoiler in the movie when they go see it. I know,
or you'll see something in a thumbnail, and
like
I was on Twitter and I clicked on something, and I was like, oh, why is this person trending? I'm a fan of this person. Let me see what this is about. And I clicked on it, and it was like, oh, I just spoiled something for the Flash movie for myself. And I was like, crap.
Yeah, I know. Like I think with YouTube, I saw like a thumbnail of something that spoiled part of She-Hulk for me, like the last episode. And I was like, what? Why are people doing that? Why are people just? Are you just so thirsty for clicks and likes?
I think that's part of it, and I think people also they kind of get off on the like, oh, I know something that most of the rest of you don't know, and I don't know, but I hate it, and like if I'm on Facebook now or something, and somebody's like, I just saw the Flash movie, I'm just like, I'm closing that post immediately. I'm not even reading anymore because like even if people are like, oh, no spoilers, but because I just don't trust anybody.
Yeah,
people are savages.
Yeah, that's how I live my life. Don't trust anybody.
Don't trust anybody. People are bastards.
Yeah, people are garbage people.
Garbage people. They will rip your heart out if you give them half a chance.
They'll rip it out, set it on fire, and for Kali Ma.
Yes.
See what we did? It all comes full circle.
Brought all full circle. Yeah.
Hey-o.
So that's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So that's what we did there.
That's what we did there. So that's our episode. And thanks again for listening as always, folks. As always, you can follow us on Twitter follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic. Mm-hmm. And I think hopefully the video recording for this episode went okay. So if that works out all right, we're going to post this up on YouTube, see what happens. Yeah, and maybe that'll be the new way we do this.
Yeah, see what you guys think of our beautiful mugs. If it's something you like, we'll keep doing it. If it's I
mean, and the nice thing about putting something like this up on YouTube is people can just still just listen to it and they don't have to watch it. You know, they can still do other things, but
absolutely
it can be more convenient.
Absolutely.
And what are we doing next week? Next week, 4th of July is coming up.
4th of July is coming up. So, as always, we always try to choose a 4th of July themed movie, something that says America. And what says
something topical?
Something topical. What says America more than someone dealing drugs on 4th of July weekend? That's right, folks. We're the Millers.
We're the Millers with Jason Sudeikis and Jennifer Aniston and
Will Poulter
who else is in it? Ed Helms is in it.
Yeah. Will Poulter is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a movie that I remember when it came out. I think it did okay. I don't remember it being a big blockbuster film, but for some reason, as the years gone on, people have kind of discovered it, and it's kind of has a bigger, kind of a cult following almost in a way.
Yeah, I think it's because it's aired on TV a lot, and I think a lot of people have caught it that way. That's I didn't see it in the theaters, but I saw it on TV one afternoon, and I thought it was, so it's a perfect kind of have this on TBS while I'm puttering around the apartment doing other things.
It's a background movie.
It really kind of is, yeah. And you look up every once in a while, and you're like, "Hey, well, that's kind of cute."
Yeah, that's there.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of look back at Jason Sudeikis' bid to be the next big comedy movie star.
Yeah, he had a bit of a run there. He was starring in a bunch of movies, kind of back to back for a while there.
Yeah, and very different from Ted Lasso, what he ended up doing.
Yep, no mustache.
No mustache, and he's kind of a ne'er-do-well. So we'll get into that. So next week we'll be talking all about We're the Millers. So, yeah, check us out for that.
Check us out for that.
Until then, Nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.